YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. I got a really important housing story for you guys coming out of Australia. This is what I've been talking about in my trends in the housing market for the last 9 months. Please watch some of the old episodes. I've been talking about this like a broken record, and it's a really good one. It's got a really good video in the article. I really strongly recommend that you guys take a look at this because every other English-speaking country is going through the exact same thing. Australia's economy is built on shaky foundations. Australia has relied on China for too long. Our whole economy is built on China buying our stuff, and it's about to collapse. It can cost a fortune to buy a house in Australia. So it's a really good video. I really want you guys to take a gander at it. It's really well filmed, and it tells you what kind of house you could get in each capital city. It gives you the median, and then this is what it's sold for: $1 million, sorry. And it just goes just like that and tells you what you could buy. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, little, yeah. And let's continue here. I'm gonna just pause this. I'm gonna close it on the side here. I recently watched the federal treasurer Scott Morrison proudly proclaim that Australia was in surprisingly good shape. Indeed, Australia has just snatched the world's record from the Netherlands, achieving its 104th quarter of growth without a recession, making this achievement the longest streak for any OECD country since 1970. I was pretty shocked at the complacency because after 26 years of economic expansion, the country has very little to show for it. For over a quarter of a century, our economy mostly grew because of dumb luck. Luck because our country is relatively large and abundant in natural resources. Resources that have been in huge demand from our close neighbor China. Out of all the OECD nations, Australia is the most dependent by China by a huge margin, according to the IMF. Over 1/3 of all merchandise exports from this country go to China, including physical products and things we dig out of the ground. Outside of the OECD, Australia ranks just after the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Gambia, Leone People's Democratic Republic, and just before the Central African Republic, Iran, and Liberia. Does anything sound a bit funny? So take a look at this, guys. This is the share of merchandise exports to China, okay? Top 35 in the world in 2014. So this is probably the only data they could find for this, but it's really somewhat up to date, and it goes into great depth here. Look at Mongolia. Holy smokes. And there's Sierra Leone, and then it goes down here. Angola's up there for sure, because a majority of people are picking up, majority of companies building highways there are all from China. Highways, electrical plants and stuff are all from China. And there's Australia right there on the list. There's Iran, let me just see, Liberia, Mozambique's there too. Mozambique is being heavily, also lots of infrastructure going into Mozambique from China. Lots of, like I said, highways, airports, and stuff like that. And then you got Guinea-Bissau at the bottom there, Ethiopia, Brazil. Brazil, not too much, Japan, Perth, Mali, Rwanda. It's these countries up here, right up to New Zealand, that are basically giving everything out of their ground to buy back cheap plastic or cheap junk products, you know what I'm saying? As a whole, the Australian economy has grown through property bubble inflation, on top mining bubble built on top of commodities bubble driven by China bubble. Unfortunately for Australia, that lucky free ride is just about to end. So Sid Geralds, China's economist, WEO, recently said Chinese banks are looking down a barrel. Sorry guys, this is really blurry. Staggering 1.7 trillion worth of losses. Human capital Kale Basis calls China 34 trillion experiment, which is exploding, where Chinese bank losses could exceed 400% of the U.S. banking losses incurred during the subprime crisis. A hard landing for China's catastrophic landing for Australia, with horrific consequences to this country's delusionist of economic grandeur. Isn't that a line from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back? Delusions of grandeur? I just thought I heard that in Star Wars. Nobody needs to match that. Nobody needs that much steel. So this is going into the mines and stuff, and it's a long, really long article. It goes in depth. It explains it's really long, guys. It's pages and pages and pages and pages and pages long. There it goes. It just ended there. It's like 11 pages long. So I really want you guys to take a look at this. It's called Australia's Economy Built for Shaky Foundations. I don't know if you guys remember, for the longest time, I've been talking about the problem with Australia. It's not producing, and it's not, it's taking the minerals out of the ground. That's step one of anything, right? Step two is refining them. That creates a huge amount of jobs. Whether you're refining nickel, whether you're refining copper, whether you're refining aluminums and plastics, whatever you're refining tungsten steel, whatever you're refining. And then from there, it goes into fabrication mode. Then you start creating bicycles, for example. Australia could be the world's leader in bicycle sales all over the world because it's got the minerals for it, right? But no, it's not happening. So the fabrication doesn't happen. The refining doesn't happen. Just the mining. And that's really not good for a country's economy. A country's economy needs to be based off exports, fabrication and exports. A lot of countries are trying to pull back, trying to be clean, that, hey, we're not producing anything anymore. Look how clean we are. That's great, but other countries are becoming wealthy. And then those countries come over and buy out your country because you've given them everything. You've given them basically the gun, you've given them the bullets, and you've given them everything to basically commit financial suicide in your own country. So I want to know what you guys think. This is something, if you're new to my channel, go back and watch some of my trends in the housing market shows. Go back and look up some of my Australia videos that I do on a weekly basis on average. Trends in the housing market, I talk about Melbourne, Sydney, Auckland. It's not good. People, and the people that have been following know what I've been talking about for the last 5 friggin' years. Every English-speaking country is being bought out, and because of our free markets. And the free markets ride, I think, is going to run out. I think the free market ride is coming to an end. And yeah, I think things are going to get really, really bad, and there needs to be some sort of proper correction to properly subsidize this correction that's going to come forward. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm not trying to instill fear. I'm just trying to tell you guys what's happening. And the only way countries could soften the crash or fix this problem is by bringing in huge amounts of immigrants with money. Lots of wealthy immigrants to come in to kind of subsidize the market in a way. Kind of fast-tracking immigration, fast-tracking everything to get them in almost overnight. And selling to investors. But the Australian proper, the Canadian proper, the people that live in the countries and pay taxes all their lives and built a foundation for their kids and grandkids to appreciate, won't be appreciated because they're bought out. I want to know what you guys think. It's just my opinion. I think the correction is, I don't know how to say it. I'm trying to say it in the best way possible so my video doesn't get flagged, so that we could comment below and maybe negotiate. We could talk, because everything comes from an idea, right? Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Thanks for watching.